Hello and welcome back to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about the update 1.24.1 patch notes that just got released this evening. So, there's a lot to cover, and I'm going to try and make this video as short as possible to give you a quick overview of what's going to be going on, but there's a lot to cover, so let's get straight into it. So, firstly, Polish tank destroyers are coming pretty soon after we've just had the Japanese heavy tanks, which is pretty nice. We're getting slightly more regular new tech trees, so I'm all for that. Well done. We're going to be getting 6 new researchable Polish tank destroyers with the new feature of having different damage per shot depending on the difference. So that's going to be a new mechanic, a new kind of unique feature, so we're going to have to see how that works out. But I am not going to try and pronounce any of these names because I do not want to offend any Polish people because they're pretty complicated, but I'll give you the acronyms anyway. So, the tech tree is going to be starting out with the never mind, not going to try. The SDP-40, which is going to be pretty interesting. It's, going to be tier 5, so it is what it is. Then the SDP-44, tier 6, looking decent. Then at tier 7, we're going to be getting the SDP-57, which kind of looks a little bit like the Chinese tanks. A little bit of a combination kind of there. And then at tier 8 is the SDP-58, tier 9 the SDP-60, and at tier 10 is the NC-70. So we're going to have to see what's going to be happening with those, and as we get more detailed statistics on these, I will put a video out covering each of these tanks, telling you equipment, field mods, all of that stuff, so you are aware of what's going to be the best things to take for these tanks in this new tech tree, so you can progress up it as quickly as possible. So, as I have done a previous video on, which if you check up in the top right corner, I'll have a little pop-up now for, which is covering the rebalancers, which we're going to be getting in update 1.2.4, which is on the Panzerkampfwagen 7, the AMX 50 Foch B, the Super Conqueror, and the Minotauro. They look pretty interesting, but if you want my overall full opinion and a deep dive into each of these tanks rebalancing, check up there, and you'll be able to go and watch that. Then we're going to be getting some map rebalancing, which is going to be pretty nice. We always love map rebalancing. I wish they did it a little bit more often, but hey-ho, I guess they do have to test them. But this is Mountain Pass currently, so this is from the south base at the back of the cap. This is what it currently looks like, so very bushy, kind of, a place to drown for artillery, and a little bit of a mound, and this is what they're changing it to after. The South Spawn does have a stronghold of kind of being able to put something up on the hill and then something sneaky in the bushes and have really good crossfire and make that cap really hard to push, as if you were trying to break into the base. So this is a really good change. Well done, Wargaming. It looks like you could potentially still hide a tank here. Something with, good armor, maybe a heavy tank, a Super Conqueror, something like that back here. But it's not going to be unspotted. There is a rock here, which once again may be interesting to play something on, but it's definitely going to be a lot harder to defend than it was previously and a lot easier to attack. So overall, they look like good changes. We'll have to see how they work in effect, but they look really good. Then we have some more Mountain Pass changes on the kind of ice road. So this is what it currently looks like, and this is what it's going to look like after. So we're losing a pretty large chunk of mountain here, and a position where, something with good turret armor can sit here and get pretty nice fire down below. Overall, going to be an interesting change. It may make it a little bit more stalematey, but this side of the map was already pretty stalematey because you kind of pushed up to this kind of ridgeline like just below, and then stuff sat up here. And sat on the hull downs. There's some further hull downs further left here. But overall, this looks like it might be interesting. It gives some different kind of angles of fire, and it means that it may progress a little bit quicker, so we'll have to see. There's going to be some Karelia changes, which are always nice. Karelia is a map which I feel does need quite a few changes. So this is what the position looks like in the north base, in kind of the just before the field area. There's a little TD spot where TDs like to sit. There's a little bush they can sit in, a bit of a ridge line they can fall back behind. This is what it currently looks like. and this is what they're going to change it to. So looks like they're going to be getting a rock with some bushes to sit either side of, which is going to be interesting. It's going to be pretty annoying if you're trying to push through the north, because stuff can just sit behind this rock. And, you know, it still does look like there's a ridgeline for them to back off behind, but it's a map change. We'll see how it works. But it could give some pretty interesting lines of fire for TDs to shoot into the north. But it may be pretty painful if you're trying to push out the north, so we'll have to see. Then another change. This is currently the rock in the north side of the open field. You know, tanks like to come here, sit in this little kind of hole here. They can peek out of here, shoot the hill and the field. They can peek out of here and shoot the north. And this is what they're going to change it to. So it looks like they're reducing some of the height of the rock, so maybe taller tanks could potentially get shot through this gap. Looks like they're adding a tree here, which could be knocked down and used as some camo off here to potentially, you could put a very sneaky tank down, could maybe outspot a light tank in the mid and potentially be able to use it as a bush to shoot up at the hill. They've extended this bush here, so you could potentially, you know, use that a little bit more effectively, because previously it was a pretty small bush. And it looks like in the background, they've removed some kind of rock back here, like as you can see here. It's kind of like this big rock face here, which tanks normally like to sit the other side of. And it looks like they've removed that and potentially flattened the terrain a little bit. So that's going to be interesting. Might create some new positions for some TDs to sit in and potentially some medium tanks. Then we've got some mines changes, which are definitely going to be interesting. So this is if you drive to the field on the right-hand side all the way up north. This is what it currently looks like. You've got a pretty big ridge line and a pretty huge line of bushes. And this kind of whole ridge here covers you from being shot from the TD nest at the back. And here can shoot into the back of the hill. And they are nerfing this position pretty hard. They've taken a lot of this rock face back, so you can now be shot from here. They've taken a lot of the bush away. And it looks like they've kind of made the ridgeline a little bit harder to play. So this position was always pretty strong. Lots of tanks with gun depression, medium tanks especially, light tanks, used to love to rush up here and get some crossfire. So this is a good change in my opinion. It might force them to have to play the city instead, which will definitely make some new interesting lines of fire. Also, there's going to be some changes to the TD positions in the north base. So this is what we currently have. And this is what they're changing it to. So it looks like they're just reworking some bushes up here and taking some height out of this house so that it can, you know, provide some covering fire into the city. So you could potentially put a TD here. But if you're a big TD, you may still get spotted from the mid and the hill. So it's going to give some interesting positions. And potentially you could sit back here and use a knock the tree down and double bush. So that's going to provide some new interesting lines of fire for sure. Then we've also got some kind of unpictured changes. So in the C2 position on El Haluf, they're removing a bush. That's going to be interesting. I believe the C2 position is if you play the north on El Haluf, it's going to potentially make it a little bit easier to play. So we'll see. And then we've got also some unpictured changes for Outpost. They're going to be raising some vegetation in G7, which is on the field, I believe. They're going to be adding some new stones and terrain in G7, G8 for the light tanks on the field. So that's going to be interesting. And they're going to move some general vegetation around. We haven't got any pictures on this, so we're going to have to see how this plays in the common test. And then a big one, and potentially a controversial one. Crew updates. We're going to be getting an improvement to the crew system, which is going to take some kind of features from Crew 2.0, which was massively shot down by the community, and rightfully so. But it looks like we're going to be getting the kind of ease of life changes, which is good. I like. So there's going to be a button in the barracks. You know, we had the barracks reworks last year to kind of make it a little bit more simple and a little bit more easy to navigate. There's now going to be a conversion button, which will convert any crew members that have less than 100% XP for their first perk to crew books. So you'll receive compensation, identical compensation. So whatever XP that crew member has, you will be compensated in the form of crew books, which then you can use on other crews. They click that conversion button, they'll be converted from a crew member to a crew book. I like that. That's really good wargaming. You know, there's a lot of clutter. You get so many crew members from Prime bundles, Onslaught rental tanks that they just end up just sat in your barracks and they just take up space. And it's really, you know, a pain to search for and find them. Now you can just click a conversion button and you get yourself some crew books. So Good change in my opinion. I like that. They're also implementing a penalty to perk efficiency for free or credit retraining operations. So that will decrease as you gain XP. So that's going to be interesting to see how that's implemented. They're also renaming a few things. They're going to give a retraining bonus for newcomers. So if you're new to the game and you want to retrain your crew to work in other tanks, you're going to have a bonus to that. So it's potentially going to be cheaper for you. That's good. And there's also going to be just some more quality of life changes. You can, change your tanker's qualification through the credit retraining operation, it's just a quality of life change. And it looks like we're going to get a dedicated article for this. So expect and keep your eyes out for a video I will make dedicated to that article as soon as it gets released. I'll try and get a video out as soon as possible for you to cover all of those changes in more detail, because they're going to be pretty big changes. So I feel like they deserve a video of their own. Then, if any of you remember a while back, we had teased right at the start of 2023 in one of the early roadmap updates, a kind of kill cam. And as many of you may have heard, that kind of got dropped because it was going to require too many resources for lower end PCs, so it was not really something that was going to be viable. However, we're going to be getting kind of a changed version of that. And if any of you play World of Warships, it's looking like it's going to be similar to the post-mortem camera afterwards. So it's going to be a kind of, after you die, you get access to a free cam, which is going to allow you to kind of navigate around the battlefield and be able to, see things that are going on. It's going to be potentially really interesting for clan modes, especially if an FC dies early. They might be able to, use the camera to go and micro their players a little bit more. But for randoms, it's just going to be pretty interesting. I can see streamers using it. If they die early and they want to watch the game to the end, they can kind of make some cinematic shots. So that's going to be interesting. Just a fun little change. So, yeah, we'll see how that works. We're also, with update 1.24.1, we're going to be getting the final season of Onslaught, which the Hurricane, the tier 10 CS 3D styled tank, which will be available from, because you'll finally be able to get enough points and it'll become available. So, there's also going to be a new piece of improved Bond equipment, which is improved aiming. So, the Hurricane is going to be available. We're going to get access to a new piece of Bond equipment, which is going to be improved aiming, which is interesting. Currently, we only have that available as Bounty, so it's going to be available as Bond. And once you reach the bronze rank, it'll be available for purchase for the first time. So just keep your eye out on that. There's also going to be some training room reworks to bring the Onslaught maps in, so people who play the Onslaught tournaments can practice. That's a good change. And there's going to be some new customization rewards, camos, and inscriptions. And once again, I will try and get an updated, refreshed top 10 tanks for Onslaught video out just before the event drops, so you can, refresh your knowledge on what tanks are going to be the best to play in the mode with all the bonus changes we'll no doubt have and all that kind of stuff. I'll try and get a video out for you for that. We're also going to be getting some Steel Hunter reworks, which are pretty generic. More kind of improvements to the platoon functionality, so keep your eyes out for that if you're a Steel Hunter player. And we're going to be getting some clan reworks. So, if any of you, play clan activities or are part of a clan, you'll know all about Tour of Duty. So, Tour of Duty gives you play the game in randoms, you play, strongholds together with your clan, and you get, you get boosters. It kind of, what's it called? Industrial resource for your clan. That's it. And then your clan spends that to get clan boosters. So, that whole system is getting a significant overhaul, and the previous Tour of Duty kind of activity, which was weekly, is now being replaced by daily clan missions, and they're going to be called Tour missions. You're going to have 3 total missions to tackle each day. They're going to be sequential, so they'll be completed one after the other. And the final 2 missions must be completed in a platoon or a detachment with a clanmate. So that will be in randoms with a clanmate or in strongholds with your clan. And you're going to have to, claim them manually. But when we get some more information on this kind of Tour of Duty rework, I will have a dedicated video out for this. So this is going to be really big, especially for me, who is a competitive player. and a clan player and all that kind of stuff, and has a big interest in the competitive clan scene, I will have a dedicated video out as soon as we find out more for this. But the essential is you're going to be able to earn industrial resource for your clan, and it's going to mandate you to have to play clan events, which is going to mandate you to play strongholds or with your clan mates, which is good. We like that change. And there's going to be points of duty, which is going to be a new clan currency. We're not quite sure what that clan currency is going to go towards yet. We'll have to wait and see for the final article. But the points of duty are going to be used to receive a reward. There's going to be like a map, kind of like a progression style map, and you'll kind of move up each stage, and as you've reached the end, the Caro, the tier 10 previously Clan Ward reward tank, is going to be available. So keep your eyes out for an article on this, and I'll have a video out as soon as possible covering this. So I've just spoke for 16 minutes there. Hopefully, I managed to cover everything in enough detail for you and giving you a quick overview of the upcoming update. It's looking interesting. So to kind of conclude, we have new Polish tank destroyers. We have a new post-kill cam kind of thing. There's going to be some crew quality of life changes. We're going to be getting some updates to Tour of Duty, some pretty significant map changes, and some kind of other quality of life changes to Steel Hunter. There's going to be some changes to Onslaught, similar stuff like that. But please do let me know down in the comments what you think of this update. You know, any concerns, any questions, and I'll try and answer them as quickly as I can for you. And yeah, if you did like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to be notified as soon as I upload. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye!